Okay. This is module number 6. Now, if you've noticed, there are no lecture today. Yay. Actually, we're going to spend this week and next week working in this module. If you just so happen to complete everything in a week, then you have another full week to catch up on anything you're behind. If you are all caught up, that's awesome. You get to take a week off of this class. So, the work that you have set out for this week and next week is this. You're going to read through the PowerShell documentation. Really, it's more of having this link handy, which is how PowerShell works and all its many intricacies. Using the SS64 as a guide. By the way, if you don't have this bookmarked, I highly suggest you do. This thing is awesome. SS64 has the references for pretty much everything you need. Obviously, because this is a Windows-specific class, we're focusing on PowerShell, but just as a FYI, if you ever need something for the command line in Windows, for Mac OS, for Linux, for any of these things, it's awesome. For example, if you want to get ACL, tells you the syntaxes, tells you the keys, and gives you examples. They've done a great job of catching as many things and putting it here as possible. So I strongly suggest using this as a reference. Anywho, using these references and of course using Google and each other, because none of my assignments force you to work all on your own. You are welcome to if you like, but if you want to work with someone else, I have no problem with that. Your job is to play these war games and submit a walkthrough of what you've done. So you're going to go to Under the Wire, where you are presented with a number of games. These are all based on PowerShell. So let's say the first one, Sentry. You'll need to SSH into their box, and they're telling you what server, what port. When prompted, use the credentials from the Slack here, from Start Here in the Slack channel that they have that you can connect to. And then you'll get in there, you'll solve that. You write that down, then you go to the next one. The password for Sentry 2 is the build version of the instance of the PowerShell installed. So you'll find something like that, include all the periods, you find that answer, you show how you solve that how you solve this question, and you move on to the next. And another hunt for a password for Sentry 3. So as you notice, each one has a different user. So you'll log in as a different user every time. So you'll solve the first, log in as Sentry 1. Once you're in Sentry 1, you'll find the password to Sentry 2. When you find the password to Sentry 2, you'll log in as Sentry 2 to solve for Sentry 3, and so on. Does that make sense? That's how this game works. So your job is to find the password as you work your way through all these. And then when you're done, you say, yay, let's do the next. There's Cyborg. Then you have some more to do in Cyborg, and then you'll have Groot. Now, I don't expect you in 2 weeks to do them all, because this is a whole lot of work. You get as far as you can in these 2 weeks, because I really want you to get hands-on experience working in PowerShell. So you should, at the very least, get through Sentry and Cyborg. Obviously, the further you go, the more points I'll give you, and even bonuses for a job well done in writing your write-up. Look online for write-ups. Look for a good example of a write-up and use that as your template. There's nothing wrong in doing that. But as always throughout this class, don't feel you have to do this on your own. Work with somebody. You have Discord. Collaborate with others to solve these challenges. I know the assignment says 40 points, but like I said, if you solve more than 2 and you have a good write-up for them, I'll grant you more points. But please feel free to work together. There is nothing in this class that says you have to work alone. That's not how I function. But you have 2 weeks to get as far as you can, starting today, to get as far as you can down this, and have build out a walkthrough on how you got through the war games. 2 sources that I used heavily are the PowerShell documentation in SS64 and the stuff from Microsoft. But feel free to go online and search for more. Questions? You guys understand your mission? Does it make sense? Is there something that doesn't make sense? Any clarifications? It is not cheating to work with someone else. I do not care how you SSH into their system. You could do it from a Mac and it wouldn't bother me. All that I ask is if you're working with somebody, put your names down in your assignment. But definitely do not feel like you have to do this all on your own, because that's not the intention of this class nor this assignment. Because these things get complicated, they get difficult, and I don't think it's fair to force you to do it all on your own. So yes, use whatever you want to connect to their system, either your local Windows box, Linux if you have it, or Mac, or PuTTY, or whatever. I think REPL still handles, still has a bash thing that you can SSH if you didn't want to use anything locally, want to use something in the cloud or a cloud system. It doesn't matter. And if you get stuck, again, ask away in the chat, in the Discord chat. Ask me, ask Brad, or Jeremy. Ask each other. It's not a race. It's not a CTF where you have to be the one to solve everything. But if there are no burning questions, I don't necessarily see a burning question in any chat. Looks like everyone understands what we're being asked to do. And if you get stuck, ask away, okay? So this does mean that next week we don't need to meet through Zoom. The next week, I'll just check in on you through Discord, and we'll be live again on the 19th.